Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Some stuff from Kai USA, Kershaw, and ZT sent directly by Kai USA. Thank you so much. I will schedule this on the day that these release, unless they release on different days, in which I'll schedule them on the day of the latest release. So this stuff will be linked down in the description. You can check those out. You can use those links if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks again to Kai USA. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. One new thing from Kershaw, very small, very lightweight, and something much heavier from Zero Tolerance. Let's do Kershaw first. This is the recap, and I believe I saw in the paperwork it said it was Damascus. I don't even know what the recap is. Oh, it's an itty bitty little EDC pry bar. Good thing I did these as a combine. I thought it's got to be like an itty bitty little knife. So this is a little tiny Damascus pry bar, actually something that you can keep on your keychain, which I'm going to be honest with you, I might actually do that. This is made in the USA. I have no idea what the price on this will be. We're not reviewing these items today. We are simply just doing an unboxing. And truthfully, this is not the type of item that requires a review. You can pretty much get the gist of it like this. Yeah, almost certainly something that you would keep on your keys. Little flathead, pry bar, bottle opener, etc. The knife community in general, the EDC community, used to be a lot more enthusiastic about stuff like this. There was a time where, like, if you were, carrying a pocket knife, there was all this other stuff that you were just supposed to carry because the rest of the community, like, there was a time where I was like, I gotta have my EDC flashlight, I gotta have my pocket knife, I gotta have my multi-tool, and I have to have like some sort of pry tool. Anymore, like, and that was fun. Like, I enjoyed it. It doesn't take very long for any individual to just be like, this is too much stuff, I'm not really using it. Anymore, I just carry a pocket knife. That's the thing that I carry the most. But when it did come time to need, like if I needed something else, the bottle opener, not so much. I wasn't randomly popping bottles in the middle of the day. But the flathead scraper screwdriver thing, like the pry bar, like that did come in handy periodically. So yeah, I think that there's still a place for stuff like this for some people. And ultimately, who cares? Buy what you like. It's not like anybody really has to go by what the trends of the community currently are or are not. You can just go for it. So cool. I wish that Kershaw would kind of step up their Damascus. We kind of have like that 2018, 2019, like early Civivi Damascus look. It would be nice to get something that's a little more crisp, maybe a little more polished, right? But this is fine. Some people prefer the matte look. Let's move on to the actual pocket knife. So a big boy, I have a guess, a heavier guy. Let's see if I'm right. No, I don't believe that I am. I think is this a brand new model? I'm sure that it says right on the box. I just want to look. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Ooh, okay. So this is going to be, some people are going to be super enthusiastic about this and some people will not. As much as we complain about ZT not going back to their roots and doing the big, heavy, overbuilt stuff, they do occasionally do that, right? But I think, truthfully, like just watching watching Kai or ZT, right? Attempt to move forward and at the same time appease their current and their kind of longtime followers. They are in a position where there is no way, right? Like we as the knife community, like we should acknowledge that there really is no way for ZT to make us all happy. It's either going to be outdated locking system, not beefy enough, too expensive. Why did you come? Like they are, I think that we kind of owe it to ZT to accept some of the responsibility in the, we want you to go back to 2012. Why are you back in 2012? Like we kind of do that. I understand it's a combination of a lot of different ZT appeals to a lot of different people and has appealed to a lot of different people over the years. So as we move forward and everything gets expensive and ZT is not, able to innovate in terms of, the locking systems as fast as some of these other companies, especially Chinese companies, right? Many people in the community hold zero tolerance to the exact same standards as some of these light speed Chinese companies. On one hand, it's kind of like, yeah, you guys probably should switch it up a little bit with the locking systems. But that's one of like a super long list of things that people tend to complain about with zero tolerance. And the reality of it is we probably shouldn't be expecting ZT to do everything that, every other company is doing. That being said, right, are you running defense for ZT now? What are they paying you? What are they paying you, Metal Complex? I got this guy figured out. Hey, don't worry there, guys. I'll take him down in the comments. Shut up! Listen. This knife is not without faults. Let me start off with what I like here. Number one, as a longtime ZT fan, okay? This is big and burly, and it is cool. It absolutely is. We have the big blade. Is this the 0203? There we go. We do have the big burliness, definitely. We get the beefiness. Not an incredibly thick blade stock, and the blade geometry, that's part of the, what was bad about a lot of those old school, like those 2010 to 2013 ZTs, is that the cutting geometry was just not good. It was just super thick. So even though we do have a big, robust, burly, big boy blade, we do have pretty good cutting geometry here. This is kind of a dark, acidy stonewashed M390 blade. I will be keeping this, by the way, absolutely. And that's cool. Kind of wish that they would have gone Magna Cut for this, but that's fine. I think ZT has stepped their game up on heat treatment for M390. They, are definitely capable of it. Kershaw is hitting Magna Cut, for example, at 62 to 64. So I would hope that their M390, has stepped up a bit. The scales here are carbon fiber, and they are almost certainly sitting atop standard steel, right? So I think everybody knows where I'm going with this. Where's my magnet? There it is. Steel. It's definitely steel. Also a stamped clip, right? I don't even need to look up the price tag. This is an up, a step up from their standard stuff, for sure. This is M390 and carbon fiber, and it's big, and it's burly, and it's beefy, right? This has a crossbar lock utilizing Omega springs. Nothing special there, and this will be something that people simply will complain about by default in the comments, which on one hand, it's like, hey, trying to appeal to a lot of people. This is a locking system that they, are able to do, and left and right-handed people can both enjoy this, okay? On the other hand, we've all seen this a bajillion times. Just because ZT is suddenly doing a crossbar lock does not magically make it special or interesting. So the end result of something like this through zero tolerance is it is going to be horrifically expensive. I am guessing that we are looking at north of $350. Probably, it could be over $400. I would hope not, but maybe, right? And it's a bummer because it's like ZT is not like, when it comes to, dropping knives that the community considers overpriced, they are nowhere near basically the villain that Benchmade is. And even Spyderco is like, where are you, like, what kind of, like, what kind of chemicals under the sink were you drinking when you guys decided to price this, right? I don't think ZT is as bad, right? People who are not nearly as, not nearly as educated on how knife pricing works will simply see a price tag above a certain threshold and then just start complaining. Why knife? Why knife? Big money? No, knife small. Too much money for small object. Right? People do that. If you're more educated, you know that there's a lot of different elements involved with this, including where it is made, how it is made, etc., 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 what it is made out of. Obviously, we cannot compare a U.S.-made item to a Chinese item because the Chinese item costs substantially less to create. No matter what it is, you compare the exact same processes, costs less to do in China. So that's out the window. But when I say they're nowhere near the villain, obviously this is substantially more expensive than a lot of Spydercos, but it's also delivering a lot more than a lot of standard, like, golden Colorado Spydercos. So I think that, a fair price for something like this, considering that Kershaw has MagnaCut or 20CV or M390 knives that they do combine with carbon fiber. And sometimes those things come in around, 200, a little more than 200. It is fair to say that this is a substantially larger object. The carbon fiber obviously has more work in it. We are not going to see this from Kershaw. We're going to see flat and shiny, right? And you guys all know that I'm correct. The blade, M390, MagnaCut, I think they're probably right there in the same ballpark, right? And there's not anything in terms of a fancy finish here. It's mainly the fact that we're looking at maybe twice the amount of material that we would see from Kershaw. Does that mean that it's, that we should be charging double the price tag? No. I think that a fair price for something like this, considering that it is made in the United States, is maybe $300 to $325. I think that that's honestly where I would put that. It does appear that this carbon fiber is contoured, and honestly, it looks really nice. Yeah, the crossbar lock mechanism, those are kind of boring. Nobody's beating down doors for that. But this is much more ZT than the vast majority of ZTs released since 2018, 2019. So this will be very appealing to some people. It is nice and smooth. And you know what? Is this bad boy? Is this one of the ones that runs on phosphor bronze? I think it is. It does run on phosphor bronze. I'll tell you this. I freaking hate that pivot. I absolutely hate this. Stop doing this. Give us a Torx head. These things suck. Anybody who ever wants to adjust it, it's like, oh, well, it only takes a yeah, but it's so shallow. It's not the fact that this is I'm not suggesting this is a proprietary system. It's complicated and I don't know what tool to use. I'm saying the edges are so shallow. The first time you go to adjust it, you're going to dick it up. So yeah, it's a cool knife. We also have to remember our neck of the woods, we forget that we are not the majority of the knife community. I have to bring this up every time we talk about ZT. We represent so few people in the grand scheme, the entire world population of people who could potentially be the buying audience for something like this. The number of retailers and brick and mortar, stores on. The number of places that ZT knives show up is far, they venture far more into casual territory, despite the fact that they are so expensive. Same with Benchmade. The surface level casuals, right? ZT, Benchmade, Spyderco, those are names that people are aware of without being aware at all of the deeper part of the knife community, us, right? The deeper you go, the smaller the population. As many people who are subscribed to my channel, that it's a lot of people. We still do not represent anywhere near the majority. My channel combined with every other large knife enthusiast channel on YouTube, we don't even scratch the surface. So we have to remember that companies like ZT, especially Kershaw, are catering to a far larger community than just those of us screaming, why won't ZT bring back their big beefy boys from 2012? I get it. I like that too, but there's a multitude of reasons, I'm sure. And knives like this tell me that ZT is trying, but unable to do everything for everybody. And ZT has become quite the target. I think a lot of it is fair, but a lot of it is unfair. They've become quite the target for criticism over the years, despite not being nearly anywhere near the worst players in the American production knife game. So this is cool, and I like it. I think I'm going to keep it. I don't know, if it was too far over 300, I don't know that I would be tempted to buy it. But it is interesting. I'm glad that they're at least doing stuff like this. I would love if ZT decided to ditch the Omega springs and just put a coil spring in there. coil spring operated crossbar, right? Just up, I don't know that that would be a super difficult thing to figure out. Other companies are doing it. I think that it would be a far more interesting locking system, and it would probably decrease the number of requests for additional Omega springs because they broke or whatever. But yeah, this is cool. I'm actually feeling pretty positive about this knife, outside of what I assume the price tag will be, which is almost certainly very high. I probably won't review this knife since I've already reviewed the standard variation. It's the same thing. It's just more expensive in M390 and carbon fiber. But anyways, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.